Don't feel bad when I'm down, I'ma be okay. This red gon' come right back around, I smack the BOA. Only the members don't come round if you ain't down one. We go back like Tom Brady on a shotgun. Knew I was finna be great when I came out the wound. They hate that I'm a butterfly that came out that cocoon.
What's up, everybody? Got this beautiful Tahoe right here. Got the jack in the front. As you can see, I'm doing it in the driveway. You understand me? I usually don't raise vehicles in the driveway because of the angle, but this truck is an automatic, so when it's in park, the rear wheels is locked. Also, it has parking brake. Step on the parking brake. Make sure you got it in park. And then also just for extra precaution, because I don't mess around, man. I ain't never been ran over by a truck, and I'm trying to keep it that way. I got the wheels chalked in the back. Piece of wood right here, all up against there. And then if you come around this side, I got a hammer right. I ran out of wood, man. I didn't feel like chopping down no trees, so I just stuck a hammer right there. Y'all don't be messing with me. Also, before you raise the truck off the ground, you want to bust these nuts. So once you got those lug nuts loose, you hear what I say, why? You want to raise the vehicle in the air. Get the wheels off the ground, remove the wheels, and we gonna get the work set out, why? Y'all, meaning y'all, why I'm actually doing this job and how you can find out if you need to do the job also on your truck. Anyway, what you want to do, you want to grab the top and bottom and shake it. You see that? That's a lot of play. You only want a little bit, little play. None, preferably. Once you got a little bit of play, then you know what I'm saying, you get away with it. But when you have this much, look at that. That's too much play. You hear all that noise? That hub bearing in there, they got to go. It got to go, and we about to do it right now. So the wheel is off. Once you get the wheel off, if you have these little, I don't even know what this is, man. Well, what's the name of it? But these will prevent the rotor from coming off. So you want to take these off. Mine has two. All I do is get a pair of snips or pliers, whatever you can grab it with. Just keep squeezing and pulling until you get this thing off. So I have two. Let me get those off. Then we got to get this brake caliper off. Now we got to get this caliper off because this sure enough is in the way. This rotor will not come off with this caliper being on. So basically the caliper is this middle part that puts pressure on the brakes when you go to stop. So we're going to take this middle part off first, and then we still have to get the bracket off. American automobiles are starting to use weird tools. This is a torque bit. Usually you find them on BMWs, Mercedes, things in that nature. But I had them on this Tahoe. This is a 03, 04 Tahoe. And the bolt to get this caliper off, I don't know if you can see it or not, but where my finger is, this is a torque screw. So luckily I had this torque bit in my tool case and it fit. And the size of it is 3/8, 10 millimeters. So the torque bit you need to get the screws off this caliper, 3/8, 10 millimeter. Alright, so we got the caliper off. If your caliper is hard to take off, just try to get a pretty good size flat tip screwdriver, or if you have a C-clamp, what you want to do is try to push these pistons back a little bit. I just put a flat tip in between and just kind of pry it on it slowly. It'll go in, slowly it'll go in, and then it will relieve the pressure. Sorry about that, it's windy out here, I got dust all in my face. It'll relieve the pressure, then you can take that off. Then you want to come down to the caliper bracket. That's these big ones back here. They are 19 millimeter or 3/4. And there's two of them. It's this one down here, as you see I already got started on them, and this one up there. Usually those are on tight. I used a 1/2 inch ratchet Put my little pipa on the bottom of it.
What the fuck is that?
Get better leverage. And you want to bust them off. You want to bust them things up. So get those off. 19 millimeter. That's the next step to get this bracket out of the way. Whoop, there it is. Got the caliper and the bracket out of the way. Now the rotor is loose. And this rotor will slide right off. And once that rotor slide off, all you have to do is go in the back. There's 3 more bolts. There's one there. One at the top with my finger right there. And that third one way over there. So it's 3 of them. They look like they're about 5/8, 15 millimeter. I'm not for sure, but I'll let you know once I take this rotor off. Alright, so those 3 bolts I was talking about, they're actually 15 millimeters. 15. Get you a 15 millimeter, take them bad boys right off. And now you have an ABS sensor that goes to this hub. You can see it on top right here. Just follow it. This clamp, it goes in there. All you have to do is get some needle nose, squeeze it from the back side and kind of pull on it. It'll come right back through. These 2 are pressed in, just like that one. Got the little rivets on it. It just sits in there. You just get something like a flat tip, pry it out. Same thing with this one, flat tip, pry it out. Then you have a connector at the top. The connector, just pull that up. That little lip, pull that up and slide the connector out. And that's it. We can start welding on this bearing. Hopefully it don't give me too bad of a hard time. Alright, so when you buy your new hub bearing, your new bearing, it should come with a sensor. So don't worry about breaking this one, nothing like that. The new one should come with one. I got all 3 bolts out the back. And in order to get things out, you see this right here, why? These are called hammers. Hammers come in a different weight. Please don't grab a picture hammer. You need something with a big head on it, because you're going to have to lay a whooping. What you want to do is take one of these hammers. This one, of course, is heavier than this one. Depending on how stuck your bearing is, you're going to have to take a little hammer or the big hammer and lay a whooping to it. And once you do, hopefully it'll jar it loose to where you can pull it out. Mine, it already has a little wiggle to it. See that? So hopefully it'll come out pretty easy. The guy is good, and I know he with me. So we're going to get this thing out of here. So remember, if it's stuck, lay a whooping to it. Man, it's windy. And if you have to, get some penetrating spray. Spray it back in there. You see where it's a gap in there? You want to spray off in there. Because this ball, I keep wanting to say ball joint. This hub bearing, it sits in like a circular hole. And it's kind of pressed in a little bit. Not a lot, but as you drive, as you can see, it get rusty. Water hit it, get all rusty. It'll become stuck. So you got to jar that bad boy loose. And you know, ain't nothing better than a handy dandy hammer. So let's get the whooping. I told you to whoop it, but I didn't tell you how to whoop it. What you want to do, you want to hit it right behind the actual spindle where the wheel go on. Right behind this lip back here. You want to hit it left, right, top, bottom, right behind there. There's another trick you could do if you don't plan on using the rotor. You can put the rotor on backwards to where that lip that's under the bottom, put that on first. And of course that rotor is a bigger diameter, so you can hit it a lot better than you can hit this little thing right here. So if yours giving you a hard time and you plan on doing the brake job and all that, put the rotor back on it and whoop the rotor. Put the rotor on and put some your lug nuts on so it'll hold the rotor, of course. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? You get what I'm saying? Put the rotor back on, put some lug nuts on there, and whoop it.
That nigga crazy.
You see that right there now, boy? I told you God was good and he was with me. I might have hit this thing maybe 4 or 5 times and it fell right off. That's a good thing. That's what you want. Sometimes they be more rustier than that, and I'm telling you, they will give you the hardest time. But I was fortunate enough to get this bad boy off. So now we got this thing off. And it's a reverse. So we get the new one, push it back up in there, line up the bolts, plug up the connector, put everything back together. Let me get this thing off. I still got that.
He needs some milk.
Alright, so after I pulled that memo jammer out of there, I just went along there with a little sandpaper. You ain't gotta get buck wild on it, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta make it look brand new. You just want to kind of get some of that rust out of there, so in case you have to do this job some years later, or if you sell the vehicle and somebody else got to do the job some years later, they don't have a hard time. It can stay easy like how it was this go around. So just sand it a little bit, like I say, you ain't gotta get buck wild. And I think I'm gonna spray a little lube in there. I noticed the new bearing it got a little oil on it, so I'm gonna spray a little bit and just kind of go around it with my fingers just to have a little coating in there so it don't rust up and get all stuck like I seen some other ones do. Got it good though. Let me take you over chill. You see that boy? Yeah, boy. What's up, brother? Yeah. This is the old one, of course. This is the new one. You always want to match them up before you install them. And they look about the same. You know, this one, the back is a little different, but that's fine. You know what I'm saying? It don't gotta be exact. You just want to make sure the bolt pattern is the same. When you look at the harness and the connector, make sure it's the same connector, oval. We got an oval one. And also these trucks, if I'm not mistaken, you can get them 5 lug, 6 lug. Don't forget to check that out. I don't want to touch the back of this, my hand is dirty. But you can see all these black circles is the stud. So this is a 6 lug, and it's the same thing. So now we just go put that in. I forgot to tell you, you need this. Yeah. This is the dust cover. You need this. Take it off the old one. You're gonna be putting it on the new one. So all they did was go along the back side just like that, and try to remember which way it was facing. If I'm not mistaken, mine was facing downward, but since I'm recording, I can always look back on the video and see which way it was facing, because if I ain't mistaken, it'll go more than one way. You don't want this in the way of the caliper, so just make sure you remember which way it was facing. But slide it off, and then you go put it on a new one, and the harness for the sensors go through this hole right here. So you just pull it through there and slide it on. Alright, enough talk. Let's get this bad boy on there. The new one sat up in there, and I noticed this top bolt is hitting that ball joint, the upper ball joint. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the steering wheel. Hopefully it'll get it out of the way of that upper ball joint, and I can get that bolt back in. When I took it out, it was a little snug, but it's even harder to get back in. So let me turn the steering wheel and see if I can get it out of the way, man, because it's giving me problems right now. Alright, I got it in, but turning the steering wheel did absolutely nothing. What I ended up doing is just taking a hammer and slightly, because it was just barely touching it, I just tapped it slightly with a hammer till it slid past it. Now I can continue to thread it into the thread and tighten these 3 back up. And everything else is the reversal. So yeah. Well, would you look at that? Oh, I don't hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just follow the same steps you did to take it off. This one went there, went back, stuck that in the hole on the upper control arm, went back up, had another hole, just stick it down in there. And up here the connector had another hole, stick it down in there. Tighten the bolts in the back. Make sure you put some, I don't know the torque specs, but you want to get them tight. Don't strip them though, but you know what I'm saying, you might want to put your back into it. So now all you have to do is put that rotor back on. The metal clips over there, don't worry about it. If you have some, put them on. If you don't worry about it, because when you put the wheel on and apply the lug nut, it'll hold that rotor anyway. So let's get that rotor back. Alright, everything lined up good, rotor on. Now let's put the caliper bracket and caliper back on with the brake pads. Okay, here we got it all back together. One quick tip, you might want to put a lug nut on just to keep this rotor centered. Got the caliper, the what am I saying?
Yeah, boy.
The bracket and the caliper all installed. Make sure the lines is out of the way so when you turn they don't get caught and ripped and snagged and all that good stuff or bad stuff. And that's it, man. Let's go in this video. All I gotta do is put the wheel back on. I'm pretty sure y'all know how to do that. And sit this bad boy on the ground, take it for a test spin. So if you like this video, like, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one.
This ain't over.